Ready Check Radio. What's up, Internet? It's Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That means here on the Relic Grind over on the twitch.tv. It's time for the Relic Grind. I already said that. Our Ready Check Radio's Final Fantasy XIV / Square Enix podcast. It's been a busy day with day jobs and all that stuff. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magic Man. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, wherever your favorite podcast platform is, thank you. We appreciate it. Much obliged. And if you get a chance, head on over to ReadyCheckRadio.com. I've got all the socials in the upper right there, including Twitch, so that you can come and join us live. We love having you live and reacting to your opinions in real time. But while you're on those other platforms, go ahead, click like, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment, all that fun stuff. Today we got a lot to cover. We're going to get to our 6.3 review of what's available in 6.3 and not 6.3.5 and other miscellaneous .x patches as we go along. And then we'll ask the question, gentlemen, is YoshiP in fact a dick? I mean, is he a dick? We'll cover it. Joining me to go through all of it, Mr. Chris Montoya, a.k.a. Tarkoth. What's up, sir?
Greetings, programs. I've had an interesting couple Monday, couple days. Don't be like Tark with the PvP series. If you want those rewards, get them done early. I finished and got my mount with 24 minutes before the server went down on Monday.
Yeah, I saw your tweet, and I was like, well, at least he accomplished something when Aaron Rodgers couldn't.
Oh, man.
Is that too soon?
I'm out.
Is that too soon? All right, joining me, it'll be a duo show today, Mr. Adam Lane. What's up, Gross?
Man, who else's team's in the playoffs? Just mine,
Just
right?
yours.
Oh,
just
man.
yours.
Crazy. Who else has the one
yours.
seed? Just mine too? Okay, that's
Just
cool.
yours as well.
Yeah,
Yours as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you're not even like fair weather bandwagon fan. You're an Eagles guy, and you have been for a very long time.
Oh,
So
yeah, I've been through some rough times, I promise you.
Yeah, I can't even fault you. And my son and I were actually at the Steelers-Browns game, so we were watching that, and the scores come in for the Patriots-Bills and for the Jets-Dolphins game come in. Halftime of all three games were tied.
Yeah.
It was, we needed the Patriots to lose. The Bills then kind of just put it on the Patriots, and that was the end of that. And then Dolphins-Jets just looked like, a soccer game. It was 3-3, 6-6, 9-6, and it was like, oh, okay. It was funny, like how many Steelers fans.
Soccer. Don't diss on soccer.
It was funny, like how many Steelers fans were like, the Jets, they got to do it. Like, ladies and gentlemen, we lost 4 games this season by 3 points or less, including letting Baltimore beat us the first time around by 2 with a game-winning drive with under 2 minutes left. Like, all you got to do is get a stop, and you're in the playoffs. Let's not blame the Jets. Let's just not really blame the Jets.
You take
Mike
care
Tomlin,
of your own stuff, you're fine.
Another winning season for Mike Tomlin, though.
Good job.
And it was a fun game. My son and I had a blast.
That's
Speaking of fun games, let's talk about some Final Fantasy XIV, gentlemen. 6.3 came out this week, dropping on Tuesday. Now, remember, there is an awful lot of stuff in the 6.3x line, but we're talking today specifically about the 6.3.0 stuff. So the ultimates, the deep dungeon, the new dailies, like all that stuff that's coming in 6.35 and 6.32 and 6.25 and 6.8 or whatever numbers they end up using. We're not talking about that. We're going to keep our review today specific to what came out and we've gotten our hands on. So let's start with the questions first here, gentlemen. Has everybody completed MSQ? I have.
Yeah. There's only one thing I haven't done. So, and it's in the other section. So.
Tark, you've done MSQ.
All done. Yep.
Okay, so that means you've done the dungeon, you've done the trial. We'll cover that. Mess around with Island Sanctuary. I know that's not really stuff you can complete in 2 days with the new levels and shit like that, but
yes,
messing around with it.
You can complete in a day.
You
just grind out that.
Yeah, you could. You could.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. Okay.
I also didn't do it, in case you're wondering.
Alliance Raid.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that
Yes?
and the
All
quest
right.
after. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we'll talk about some miscellaneous other side stuff, Tataru's and shit like that. So let's talk about the MSQ itself first. And chat, we're not generally spoilery here, but honestly, I don't really feel like there's anything to really spoil here. I guess you could say that maybe who the trial is a spoiler because they really didn't give an indication that person was going to be the trial in the trailers. In fact, I think they kind of pulled a little bit of a misdirection in one of the trailers, trying to maybe make you think one of the Alliance raid bosses was going to be the trial person. But that depends on how fast you viewed the trailer. So there's not really anything to spoil. We already know the Black Knight is Golbez. The name has already been dropped in the game. We're like, they're... So, yeah, sure. Spoiler warning, I guess. Generally we stay away from big spoilers for the first week. But, gentlemen, I'd take the gloves off for this one because I just personally don't. Unless you disagree, I personally don't feel like there's anything huge spoilerific in this patch.
Not that big a deal. No.
Yeah, not really.
All right, so let's talk about MSQ, Tark. We'll circle back to the dungeon and the trial itself as far as mechanics, but what do you think of the MSQ?
I thought it was wonderful. Seeing Zero grow as a person is heartwarming. She's my bae. She's my no girlfriend. And you had to say though, Julius, you need to take those eyes, those lorning eyes, and point them somewhere else. She's not yours. She's mine.
Get off of Tark's Bay. Get off of Tark's Bay. What do you think, Kronos?
I thought it was just okay. I'm not like super high on it. I don't think it was bad or anything.
All right.
I mean, the solo instance to me wasn't that great. I don't know. I'm kind of over like the solo instance where I just press one button now. Like, I don't know. It's not that fun. But yeah, I mean, just okay. Not really.
Yeah, so there were moments like all three of us are all over the spectrum here. Tark loves it. Kronos thinks it's average. I hated it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's some interesting bits with Zero. I do agree with you, Tark. I do like Zero's character kind of starting more of an arc, and I'm not bashing it for that. I do like that aspect. There were some neat things. I thought it was a kind of neat taking control of Zero in the little solo duty for a minute or two, knowing that this is going to be an unwinnable fight because I had seen the trailer and now I have a place, so I know when she's going to go down, like when she falls in the trailer. So there were neat little moments here and there, but I honestly played through it all and almost the entire time felt like this is one of the weaker patches, MSQ-wise. And maybe I'm alone, but I'm more towards your side of things, Kronos, than yours, Tark, and maybe I'd go a little further to say this is one of my least favorite MSQ patches. That said, I do understand that we are in an awkward phase point with these patches right now.
Right.
And in that the Scion storyline is done and we're getting ready to prep a whole new mass storyline. It's not the worst patch by any stretch of the imagination. But I think it's up there as one of my least favorite. Am I being too harsh, Chrono?
It's probably around there for me too. If I start thinking of like, because it's not many patches I like flat out hate. So if I'm saying like it's average,
Yeah,
and
Stormblood
was
like, good for a couple of those.
That's fair. Yeah, Stormblood story patches weren't very good. Although some people like the stuff after the MSQ, like after the main stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really like it that much. I want to like it because I think I am interested in like a lot of the Void stuff. Just felt like we did other things that I just didn't care much about, and then we kind of went back around to that like near the very end, and it got a little interesting for me. But I guess like we could just talk about it like a little bit now. But like I was hoping they wouldn't make Cognazzo the dungeon boss. I was hoping they would do something different, like than rather what they did last time. And they just did the same.
Dirty.
They just did the same thing again. So. Not that I hate the fights themselves. I think they're actually kind of fun. Like the dungeon boss is fun for what it is, and I think the trial is really fun. It's just, I don't know. I just wish they had done something a little different, and I'm hoping that it gets more interesting going forward. Because right now, I feel like after the last patch where I felt was really interesting. I felt this one's like not even close, personally.
Yeah, Tark, and like I said, like the worst patch in Final Fantasy XIV is still an enjoyable patch for me. I've never jumped into a patch and gone just like, I don't know if I want to play this anymore, or maybe I want to just shut this down and come back a few patches later. It has never been like that for me. So we're like, I'm bitching about an abundance of good, right? I'm bitching about an abundance of good. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, oh, okay, CAG is going to be the boss. Okay, well, I know who the trial is. Yeah, I was right. Okay, Rubicante, let's do it. Let's do this. Yeah, what made it like one of the better ones? And I don't want to put words in your mouth and like give it more hype than you did, but you're more positive than the two of us.
Well, you guys know Final Fantasy IV is my favorite, so
yeah, I could definitely see that.
Expansion has been overflowing of nostalgia goodies for me. They've done my Four Fiends dirty though. Scarmiglione and Cagnazzo being dungeon bosses just feels real bad to me. I would have felt better.
Well, I mean, if you got to pick two to be dungeon bosses, those are the two you pick.
I agree with that. I just had hoped that they would just let Scarmiglione be one dungeon boss and the others would have been trials. It would have felt, more impactful for 3 of the 4 fiends to actually be big bosses that you have to take care of.
Well, I think timing plays into that too, though, right?
Sure.
Because you got to do.
We don't know what they got planned.
In 6.4, we're going to fight Golbez, and then 6.5 is going to prep 7.0. Like,
I think 6.4 we're going to face Shadow Dragon Azaja.
Yeah. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
And then 6.5 is Golbez. So,
yeah.
Man, that really doesn't give a lot of prep for 7.0, does it?
Unless and it could be one of those, we get 2 MSQ patches in the 0.5 and 0.55.
Oh, yeah.
They keep
part
doing.
1, part 2 deal.
I'm also wondering maybe, did you guys maybe have expectations with this being a 0.3 patch? Because typically we have big moments in 0.3s, like we had Nidhogg, Tsukiyomi for Stormblood, and then Warrior of Light. Those whole storylines wrapping up expansions to lead into the next one. And of course, we don't have that here. So I'm wondering if maybe that put into your expectations?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's also true. That's a fair point. I actually feel like I'm just down on this patch as a whole in general, and we'll get to more of the stuff. But
okay.
Not that I hated it. Like, I still enjoyed the concept.
I know, it's so weird, right? It's like I didn't enjoy this as much as I've enjoyed other ones, and I'm probably going to be a little more critical of some other things here too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was fine. Like I didn't sit there going, "Oh my god, I just want to get this done." I enjoyed it, just not as much as I've enjoyed other things.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
Like the dungeon.
It's fair.
I thought the dungeon was boring as shit.
I thought it was also really boring. Cagnazzo is cool. The fight's fun. I found
and this is like boring. And this is like the patch of mommies. I mean, it like you got your goth mommy as boss number 2 in there. You got your first trial or your first boss fight in the New Alliance raid. Like, and then some people were making comments about the final boss until somebody in my Alliance raid was like, "Dude, she's like 7," and they were like, "Oh, okay, never mind then."
You 17,000. She's 17,000.
right. But yeah, it is like the CAG was a pretty interesting fight. It was like, okay, that's kind of neat and stuff. But honestly, like environmentally, pretty. Like the blue ether pools that you go into at the end, and pretty. But there have been much more visually interesting dungeons. Honestly, the music is great, but there have been much better music pieces used in dungeons. And although Rubicante was a cool fight, I kind of feel the same way about the trial.
Yeah, like, the normal mode, I feel that way. The extreme I actually really enjoyed, but I don't know if I like it more than Barb. I like the beginning of the dungeon. I was kind of amped up at that part, like when you're riding through. I thought that was really cool.
Tower of Babel in the distance.
And
you're like,
I mean, like it kind of starts off a little bit like Tower of Babel, right, where you're like riding the train, but and I kind of like that. I think I wish they used that more because I think it's really cool to like look around you and then like look forward and see where you're going while you're fighting stuff. But then the rest of it, I just didn't. Yeah, felt kind of like whatever to me.
I don't know. I like the first boss. The the animal stampedes, I was just busting up laughing. I'm like, that's funny AoE. Second boss, that whole second area. I haven't unlocked Reaper, so I got Reaper lore from there, and I took the time to read the stuff because I was doing it with a duty support.
Oh, let me ask you this: since you haven't unlocked Reaper, and Kronos, you've unlocked Reaper, right?
Yeah, I have everything at 90.
Oh, you're Omni. That's right.
Yeah.
So then you saw in the MSQ when they reference your character as having started training in this art or received training in this art and wondering who. Did you get that text line, Tark? Because as soon as I read it, I was like, I wonder if people that don't have Reaper unlocked don't get that text line.
Yeah, and that's what I was told by others that were watching. Like, yeah, you get more flavor lore if you have done Reaper stuff. So I didn't get any of that, but it was interesting to learn about it, knowing nothing about Reaper and their backstory. So that was kind of cool for me.
Rubicante, yeah, interesting fight. I mean, the music's good. The music's
good. Yeah,
music's good. We know the music's going to be good. They just keep beating us with that nostalgia stick. It's Square Enix.
I'll take it.
I think they've realized the weakness of Final Fantasy XIV players. Just turn stuff.
Little bit.
Just turn things. Just turn things, and people lose their mind.
Yep, can't do it. Can't do it.
It happened with Zodiac.
Where actually, I actually have. There's a mechanic that's used in the Alliance raid that, don't let me forget, I do want to bring it up. Because, yeah, lots of people can't deal with turning things. But honestly, there's a mechanic that the first time through the Alliance raid, I was like, I do not get what is going on here. Like, I'm not understanding what's going on. And then when I said it in party, we'll get to it when we get to the Alliance raid.
Okay.
Island Sanctuary stuff. I mean, cool. There's some new materials. There's collect all buttons. Yes.
Oh, good. I rejoiced so hard. It was great.
Yes, the collect all buttons are there. There's some new materials you can farm up. Some of them are real pains in the ass to get. Not necessarily to get, but to get to respawn. Some of them are annoying. You gotta jump down to other places and then come on back. You can't just find other crap to farm nearby. So yeah. I mean, I got a new minion. Yay. Always a fan. Always a fan.
I've gotten, since last time we were together, I've gotten 10 new minions. I am catching up to you, my friend.
Nice.
I'm catching up to you.
Well, I mean, that's the best way to win a race is to have a race without the other person knowing it's a race. I mean,
I will say that you are paid to win. I always look on XFE Minion, and I see all those soundtrack minions you got. I'm like, yeah.
I have to. The soundtrack discs are amazing. What's up, Dave in chat? Long time, yeah. Welcome. Haven't seen you.
Just hit that filter button. It's there. Yeah, there's a button that says.
I keep it there. I keep it there as a reminder that he's paid to win. Okay.
Right.
Well, if you hit the filter button, are you still losing? Because if that's the case, then
no, I'm actually winning if I filter that out.
Okay.
So if I don't count any of this column and this column, I'm beating you.
Yeah, that's.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, so, did y'all catch any of the new Pokemon? The animals.
No, I haven't delved into that.
I saw one. I think there's 3.
Are they all rare?
They're all rare. They're all weather based. Yeah, I caught one. It was a tiger. Looks like it's just like a striped tiger. I think there's a baby Marlboro, like a little seedling,
and a griffin.
I think that's it. And then really the quality of life stuff's the biggest thing, to be honest. I mean, there's a mount that's ranked 12. I'll get it eventually. I'm not really gonna sit there and gather for 8 hours. I'm good. I did that enough already.
Yeah, I saw someone on day 1 with the alligator. Oh, yeah. I'm like, you're insane.
Totally. I bought my gill mounts, and that was enough for me day 1.
Wow.
Huh. And then we have the Alliance raid.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I feel like was the best part of the patch for me, but still was just kind of okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was beautiful. I thought the lay of the land and the changing of the environments and, the slide into Elsa's tower from Frozen and all that stuff. I thought all that stuff was beautiful. There are a couple interesting mechanics. We'll talk about that in a second. Narratively, I just didn't care. Like, I did read all of the text and go touch the rocks and all of that stuff. I'm going to say that I found this one easier. My first group of randos on day one cleared it. Like, there were no wipes. Obviously there were deaths and reses and stuff, but there were no wipes. Every boss got one shot all the way through. I understand the difficulty meter on this is tuned for a different audience. That's fine. I still enjoy running the content, and I do find it interesting, even though it might not be overly challenging. But this was the best piece of 6.3 for me, and it was just okay. Love the art, though. Love the environment. Not so much a fan of the music for the last boss. I was like, what is this?
Oh, yeah. Especially after In the Balance. I was expecting something awesome, epic, a good banger, and it was very anime, and then there was like some southern twang like 3/4 of the way through it. It was weird. I love the violin and fiddle throughout all of this. The first 3 bosses use the same music.
I mean, I'm an Irish man, so I thought I should have done some Irish dancing to some of the beats in the last boss's music.
But I like the boss music for the first 3 fights. I thought the fiddle violin was awesome. But yeah, I was expecting more out of the last song. It was sad.
Yeah, the best way I could describe it is like it's like a 90s anime song, and then if you've ever played Tekken 6 at all, it's like the sheep stage from Tekken 6. You just mashed into one song. It's really weird, but I don't know. I kind of liked it. It's definitely not In the Balance though. Like, I don't even think it's close. But
oh yeah, no doubt.
I kind of liked it, but yeah.
What'd you think of the raid as a whole?
I thought it was ridiculously easy. Like, I think this is the easiest I've felt a 24-man has been in a long time. I think I'm trying to think, like, what's easier than this? Sycris, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt like, I don't know, like some of the mechanics aren't like super clear, I guess, but then like it's just, I don't know, nothing was really that punishing. It felt like usually, like, because of how friendly they are with raises and stuff, they usually at least like will do stuff that will kill you. I don't know. It's just everything felt, for the most part, everything felt super obvious for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just felt a little too much easy on some of the easy stuff for me.
I agree with that. Especially when we one shot all the bosses. The first boss, my rando group had some difficulties. We got to a point where we were like 5 or 6 people left, but we still managed to claw back and get the win. So there's definitely moments of breathing in between all the chaos that might be going on, but nothing's crazy, shrouded in mystery on what's going on. So my only disappointment really for this is that I still don't know like why we're here. Like, they're saving the mystery for the last patch because we got 5 of the gods this time. So
well, there is one thing we
minus
learned, right?
1
yeah, exactly. Go ahead. Yeah.
So we're minus 1 for the next one. So what's that last boss gonna be? Is it gonna be Derek? I think so.
You don't think Derek is one of the gods, or do you think Derek is the guy they're like the 13th person they're referring to?
I think he's the 13th person. I think he might be a Zem.
Okay, I can see that.
He's not with the gods, but he's a wanderer. It's kind of how Zem is.
So do you think the monkey is Oshan?
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with all that. I find it like, I don't know, I thought I was more interested in it at the beginning, and now it's like they're just taking kind of long to explain stuff, and I'm like less interested in it.
Yeah, and it does kind of, okay, is the last segment only going to have 3 bosses, or are we going to have the introduction of a 4th unknown entity at the moment, which is obviously the way I think they're going to go. Dave from chat loved the music, by the way. I could definitely see like an anime fan absolutely loving it, because the last boss is very Sailor Moon anyway. So you get that vibe, and then you get that music. Just wasn't for me. Again, it's one of those things. Didn't hate it, but was like, yeah, there's been better. Yeah, there's been better. Other side stuff, there wasn't a ton in this one. Obviously, Tataru's Endeavor. Jesus, please just be over.
Not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I did it. You might as well.
I haven't done it yet. It's the one thing I
Knock it
didn't
out.
do.
I'll do it at 6.5 when it's done.
I'm
I'll
done.
do
I'm
it.
done with it. I'm
I'll
done
do
with
it.
that.
I just haven't
But
done
yeah,
it.
nobody expects the 24 to be punishingly difficult. That's not what it's for. But comparing it to other 24s, it was easier. That's just
Yeah, I'm only
That's
comparing it
fact.
within the realm of the other
the scope
24
of
man.
other 24 mans.
Yeah.
Like people rag on the near raids, but I thought the near raids have been a lot more interesting than these.
Mechanically, though, the near raids were really good. I thought it's most people that complain, feel like about this near stuff is like the story, which is totally understandable.
Yeah.
But I feel like from mechanics and boss standpoint, most people enjoy the near raids. I think they're pretty like the difficulty was like spot on. I think not quite as hard as Evil East, which I don't think you want to do, but but like in the middle,
Sid.
like you're like
Sid was awesome.
I liked Evil East too, but I think at least like the last one.
I
Was
think
probably
Evil
a bit
East
overtuned.
pushed the boundary of what I think they're willing to do difficulty wise with 24. I think they were like, because they, we only had what Crystal Tower and before
Void Arc.
Yeah, thank you. Before Evil East, so they were still kind of finding their groove on difficulty. I think.
Yeah.
On what they wanted this to be, and then when they did Evil East, they were like, okay, yeah, that's a step too far. Let's step it back, and then we're good. We found it. This time, I think it was just a bump down. I actually think, by the way, that when we did the second portion of As Fidelos, I thought it was easier than the first portion too. So, whatever. I will say this. I loved, and Tark, I don't know if you've done it, right? The Hecteyes quest.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do those?
I have not finished the second set.
Okay. I loved, that might be my favorite part of the patch, was that quest in the previous patch and then here in 6.3, kind of giving not just backstory on how the Fiends met Golbez and implied promises, or in some cases, overt promises, but then also going into the Fiends' own backstories, like long before when they were human. And I thought those were great. They were fantastic. I loved them the first time around, with the daughter and the father for Barbricia. And like, they were great this time around. That was an awesome little side quest endeavor. And if you collect Orchestrion rolls, you're going to want to do that one. I thought that was probably my favorite thing about the patch.
I think I might be right there with you. I think I might be right there with you, to be honest. Yeah.
Any other little endeavors as you are traveling around, or any final thoughts on 6.3, Tark?
Actually, just the question, the mechanic that you found.
Yeah. I totally said, don't let me forget, and you didn't let me forget. I didn't understand the card mechanic at first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one where you figure out when you actually highlight the debuff.
Yeah,
you had to. Debuff. Yeah, and eventually I did just break down and highlight the debuff, but I try to like go in blind and just okay, if this thing nukes me the first time, I don't care, or if I die during a fight, I'm gonna watch the next time this fires. Like I try to piece it out without mousing over that stuff. Eventually, I had to for this one, because there's really not any real fair indications of move, stand still, face, don't face. Upside down means it. Like there really isn't a. You know how they're really good in not just Final Fantasy, but in a good MMO RPG of setting you up for the ultimate mechanic, right? Mm-hmm. We're gonna do a little light version of A, a little light version of B, and then later you're gonna see A and B amped up and at the same time. This one kind of was just like, okay, I got a card and I know it's a countdown. There's fire. Fire. What does fire tell me to do? I don't take a bath. I don't know. I just get in a tub. Oh shit, the counter's down. I thought I was like, there really wasn't any indication besides mouse over the debuff, which I was like, I don't like that. But it is what it is.
I will say with that particular fight, the fact that it can be different depending, because you can have different mechanics. She has different cards.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a fire and a water, and then you have
a move, you have a don't move, you have a look, you have a don't look, and then you have reverses of each of those 4 cards too.
Yep. So I think it's a plus that you can have different mechanics depending on what you get set up with it. So a little bit of replayability, but not much. But
evil ass Uno. Yeah, pretty much.
Evil ass Uno. Yeah, good times.
Overall thoughts on 6.3. We're going to hold for a minute on those because that's going to be our love it or leave it. And gentlemen, I'm not going to let you cheat. I know we got other stuff that each of us are looking forward to in the 6.3 line, but today's love it or leave it is only going to be 6.3 content specifically. Speaking of Final Fantasy's future content, before we leave the topic, Yoshi P has revealed the next level cap. Get ready for it. Are you ready? Here we go. It'll be 100.
Hey, it's a
I'm
milestone.
sure you're all shocked and amazed by this news.
I think some people were disappointed though. I wanted it to be 99.
99? Yeah.
Yeah.
When we wrote it up for MMO Bomb, we were like, all right, I guess he's breaking norms a little bit and going to go to 100. But the interesting part about this, like you probably guessed this, that it was going to be 100. But Aitai Kimochi on Twitter did some translation of an interview and where he confirmed that it was 100. The interesting part and why I'm bringing it up here, gents, is because he's not quite sure what he wants to do after that. He's not quite
That is the
sure, because he feels like just going to 110 and 120. In his words, he calls it half-assed. Anything beyond level 110 or anything sounds half-assed, so the team needs to think about what they'll do after reaching level 100 in the next expansion. Any suggestions for them, Kronos?
I don't know what the right answer is. It's hard, but something definitely needs to be done. I thought they were going to use the next. I thought there was also a possibility like next expansion was going to be used as almost like a pseudo reset. They still might do that in some form.
But they already did. What's weird is other games, World of Warcraft most notably, have done stat squishes, for lack of a better term, in the past, where they do the stat squish and a level squish at the same time. We already came out of a stat squish in Final Fantasy XIV with no matching level squish. So that would be weird to just do a level squish for no particular reason other than we don't want to go above 100.
I think the most important thing is we need a story squish. I think that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't know what the right answer is. I don't envy that decision they have to make because I think no matter what decision they make, people are going to be mad. Some group of people are going to, but that's every decision, I guess. Large groups of people will probably be mad, no matter which direction they decide to go.
Right.
So I don't know what the right answer is.
Any suggestions for him, Tark?
I think it'll be Endwalker with the stat squish. This next one.
I mean, we've kind of talked about on previous shows whether 7.0 or 8.0 is going to provide a new starting point for players, new players. So. I mean, I guess you could do something in there.
That maybe they just do a reset and they put you back down to level 1 or a level switch. I'm with Kronos. Like, I don't know what you do. I don't know what the right answer. Someone's gonna get mad at some point in time. I'm leaning more towards just a level squish and maybe section off the story. I'm not sure how you go.
So
about
here's the thing. Like, I thought about the merit system in Final Fantasy XI. So when you hit level 99, you're still gaining experience. You're gaining these merit points. They can, but stats are important in Final Fantasy XI. I'm talking about character stats, strength, agility, that type of stuff. Not like direct hit and spell speed. The things you're materia. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about character stats. They don't really mean anything in 14, with the exception of like one class who still kind of relies on one of the stats a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if you can build a merit type system where maybe the reward for achieving those levels is something different than merit points, but I would be a big advocate for Final Fantasy XIV to receive some type of horizontal progression system at level 100. But what you make the rewards for those so that you feel stronger or feel like you're improving your character either vertically or horizontally, I don't know, because there aren't really any meaningful systems to interact with right now on that front.
And so would merit be like the same as like AA from EverQuest?
Yeah. Like similar, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I would be all for that. I would love to have a reason to be rerunning these dungeons other than just tomes. Like if I can get XP for doing that stuff and put it towards, tiny little increments, even if it's just like one strength or, 5 points of extra block damage on my paladin, that would be awesome. And over the time, you build up this repertoire of like, hey, I'm level 100 and 100, merit points. It would broaden.
That's all I got. That's all I got, guys.
Differentiation. Not every paladin would be the same because you'd have this extra system.
I don't think they're gonna do that though.
I don't think they will either. Yeah, because the whole structure of the game is they don't want those stats to be meaningful.
Right.
That's why I said I don't know what the reward would be right now in Final Fantasy XIV because there is no meaningful system to interact with that you could pay off and make your character feel like you are advancing, no matter how incremental. So I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Let's move on and talk about some other Square Enix stuff. But while we're on the topic of YoshiP and interviews, gents, I gotta ask the question: is YoshiP a dick? Like, is he just a dick? Because in an interview, he was hyping up Final Fantasy XVI like you do, and he was asked about the subject of Final Fantasy XVI on the PC, a PC port. His response: nobody said a word about a PC version release. Why is it like a PC? We'll come back to that. Why is it like a PC version is releasing 6 months later? Don't worry about that. Buy a PS5, he said, laughing. Now, he did go on to continue. Obviously, everybody that reported on this said he said it in a joking manner. And then he did follow up to say that, maybe he had gone, literally, like, he didn't stop. It was the next sentence. This wasn't him fixing things later. It was the next sentence. He said, sorry, I went overboard. We did our best, so please look forward to it. I personally didn't have a problem with it. I could tell it was a joke. I could tell the way it was meant. But I also looked at it and said, if that pisses you off, I'm not going to fight you on it. Like, I can understand if you're pissed off by that comment, why you'd be pissed off. I knew it was meant as a joke. He said it as a joke. If you thought, even if he meant it as a joke, it wasn't, a decent one to make at the time, then hey, more power to you. What I did take a lot of umbrage with, though, was acting like this came out of nowhere. I thought, you know better. And if you don't, you should.
Shame on you.
You should.
You should.
So I'm going to show you this. This is the last screen of the original PlayStation, or the original gameplay, original trailer.
Announcement.
Yeah, the original trailer announcement. This is the very last screen. And let me just, it might be a little hard to see on that screen. So let me just do a little something here for you.
Enhance.
That down there says also available on PC. It's the asterisk that was on the PlayStation 5 console exclusive. Yep. So where did people get the idea that it would be on PC? From you. From you. Let's take a look at a little more evidence. This is the most recent trailer from Final Fantasy XVII, where again, it's advertised as a PlayStation exclusive with an asterisk. And oh my, Tark, enhance.
Let's go plus ultra on this. Let's go.
Not available on other platforms until 12/31/2023, at which point we knew that the game was coming out around June-ish. I don't know if we had the exact date or if this was the trailer the exact date was revealed in. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was. So that's, let's see, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 6. So where did we get that it would be on PC and at least 6 months after the PlayStation 5 launch? Why, Daddy Yoshi, we got both of those ideas from you.
Maybe he and the marketing team are not on the same page. But I would think that he would have like final say over how the trailer's released. Like, maybe not.
And I mean, like I said, on the buy a PlayStation 5 thing, obviously he's going to be trying to sell Sony PlayStations right now because that's what the initial contract is for. I totally get it. If it didn't upset me, if it upset you, I totally get it. To Cal saying it's like the "don't you guys have phones" type comment. Yeah. It does come off in that vein a little bit. A little more humor than actual seriousness. Than when Blizz said it, they were deadly serious. Like, what the hell, guys? And telling people to just go out and buy a $500 piece of hardware that, although the shortages aren't what they used to be, can still be challenging to find from time to time. It's kind of a bad look, and if it left a bad taste in your mouth, I'm not going to fight you on it. You're totally able to have that in my book. It didn't bother me, but I do take a lot of umbrage with pretending like PC in 6 months came out of nowhere, Kronos. This is just dumb.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to prep people for the crappy port, since Square and PC ports are not good. But no,
time.
yeah, I think he could have been a bit better about this. Even like with the people that probably listen to him more like us, where like we could kind of tell it's a joke. You're gonna make people mad. You say stuff like that. So
well, the other thing is YoshiP is always Tark so smart most times about PR and saying things carefully, realizing that one, he's saying them in Japanese and then they're being translated. So there's always subject to mistakes in translations or intent, more importantly, not being there in the English language that you can clearly contextually see in the Japanese language. But then also just like he understands media. He understands the sound bite. He understands the headline. And he knows that even making that comment as a joke, and even if the reporters put it in the text that, yeah, he said this and he was clearly joking, the headline's not gonna say that, and he knows better. He knows better.
This is one of those times where it's easy just to use the cliche. Hey, we're focusing on the PS5 launch right now. It's coming out in June. If you want to get on it day one, get a PS5. We'll have information about other platforms in the future. Please look forward to it.
Yeah, or we're not ready to talk about other platforms. Well, your trailers had this and this. I understand, but we're not ready to talk about other platforms yet. We're looking forward to the PlayStation 5 launch in June.
Yep, keep it simple.
There you go.
Sometimes less is more.
Sometimes. He definitely, like, this was a gaffe on his part.
Yeah, it was a faux pas.
Yeah, definitely. I can't even,
not
argue it.
I
can't even YoshiP fanboy argue him out of it. You done did this to yourself, friendo. Yeah. Like, you deserve all the slapping around you get for people that see the headline, don't read the article, and you knew better.
It's not on the same level as the diversity thing, the gaffe that we had.
No, that one was really dumb.
That was brutal. Yeah. But yeah, he didn't need to go into that. So,
hey, gents, I know we've talked about all of these topics I'm going to bring up here individually over time as they happened, but it really just hit me this past week that, like, if you take it one at a time, we kind of laugh, we kind of giggle, and we poke fun, and we wish the developers well. But when I stepped back this past week and looked at things, I was like, dear God, like, it's not a joke anymore. Square Enix, as much as they're looking into NFTs and blockchain, and that's terrifying, they should never be allowed to make, in my opinion, a live service game again. Ever. You got Marvel's Avengers, which is still kind of running. Kinda.
I'm not sure how, but yeah.
Babylon's Fall, which shut down sales 6 months after launch, actually closes this February officially. Chocobo GP lasted a year. Now, granted, you'll be able to play some of that offline still, but a big portion of that game and no new content or new seasons coming for it. First Soldier lasted 14 months and got shut down. Bravely Default Brilliant Lights, although in the West here we really don't know that one. It was a Japanese mobile game, lasted 13 months. So nothing here lasted much longer than a year, with the exception of Marvel's Avengers still kicking around on life support for some reason. And I know this isn't Square Enix's direct closing of these games, but let's not forget that when Square Enix Montreal was bought and renamed to Onoma, they shut down Hitman Sniper: The Shadows, Deus Ex Go, Arena Battle Champions, and Space Invaders Hidden Heroes, all mobile games as a live service. Which means not only... Oh, and then Onoma closed, by the way. And then Embracer Group just closed Onoma.
Oh, I didn't see that. Wow.
Oh, yeah. They renamed it and everything and then shut it down. We talked about it on the show. Here's my thing. Not only is this an impact on devs, right? These were devs that thought that they were going to be working on particular games for a while. And now they either get reshuffled to something else or, in worst case scenarios, laid off. But just think of the number of players that have jumped into these 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever it is titles over the last 12 to 14 months and spent any money in it, now have nothing, with the exception... And I understand, when you play a live service and you spend money, that is always a buyer beware at your own risk thing. If they shut the game down, you got nothing for your money when it's all over. But people don't tend to go into live services expecting them to close 14 months or less from the time you are engaging with the product. So is it the fault of players? Sure. This is very much in my mind a fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me type thing. But I think Square Enix has to bear a little responsibility here and just look and say, we are not doing this right. We are trying to jam these live services into games that probably don't support it because we're so hungry to get a live service out there and make a ton of money off of it. We're over-monetizing the hell out of it. We're making money maybe very quickly in the short term, and then we're shutting them down. That's kind of dick, Tark. That's kind of dick.
It is kind of dick. I mean, they do still have a few wins out there. Dragon Quest Tactics, I believe, is still running. Opera Omnia's been going strong. Brave Exvius, War of the Visions. So they've got some wins, but you add those to all the ones they shut down, it's just a very oversaturated market. You can only spend so much money on all these mobile titles before you're like, something has to shut down. I'm expecting Nier Reincarnation to shut down at some point here soon. But yeah, it doesn't bode well, and I'm looking forward to Ever Crisis, but I'm now worried for it because of how things have gone for Square Enix over the last 2 years.
I think you're probably okay on that one, just because that one's not being a live service. That's kind of doing what they do with the Final Fantasy XV, and it's like almost episodic and stuff like that.
It does have
the gotcha element. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So it's like Opera Omni in that regard. Yeah, I'm a little worried for it still. I mean, if you know about some of these titles that are coming out before they're announced, you can maybe make some money on the stock market.
I mean, I just kind of look at them and go, no. You have the track record, Kronos, that they have here. I'm pretty much not. You could put Final Fantasy on it and YoshiP's on it, and I'd still be like, no. I just don't trust this is going to be here. There's better things I can spend my money on.
I'm proud of myself that I didn't buy any of these. Actually,
I didn't. I got Babylon I did not buy Babylon's Fall. It was given to me by Square Enix, so I do have a copy. Yeah.
Marvel's Avengers is the only one on this list that I purchased and I immediately refunded. So, which it takes a lot for me to refund a game, a lot, especially like a Marvel game too. But yeah, I don't know. This is why I don't like a lot of like digital age stuff too, like because these games are just gone, except for Chocobo GP, and even that's like half gone, right?
Yeah. And I do own that one. I did pay for that one.
Yeah,
like cash, my own cash, not Square's cash. They didn't send me a copy of that one.
I honestly blame Square like 100% because I feel like a lot of these things, I don't know, they feel like very cash grabby. It's like, okay, let's make a Chocobo Mario Kart, and then I guarantee you announce just that, where actually they did, and fans are like, oh, that's really cool. We'll buy Mario Kart Chocobo GP as long as everything's in one package, and then they're like, here's this mobile game basically.
It's a little worse for me because I don't feel like it's like, hey, we want a Mario Kart, let's do it with Chocobos. All of these tap into nostalgia 100% intentionally. Chocobo GP didn't come out of nowhere. There was a Chocobo racing game that was very well loved on the PlayStation 1 that we haven't seen jack from until Chocobo GP. It's not just, it doesn't just feel like EA grimy to me. It feels like EA grimy +1 because now they're like jumping on the emotional portion of it too, the nostalgia portion of it, which just feels awful.
I mean, I feel the same way with like the Final Fantasy VII stuff, to be honest. It's like it just feels like a cow and they're just like milking it.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, how much Final Fantasy VII crap can we make before we actually finish the remake? And some of it's good, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the Crisis Core remake and stuff like that. And like I'm sure Ever Crisis is gonna be fine. But then for every one of those things, you're gonna get a first soldier. It's like
Or 3.
yeah, it just doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah. And we don't know if this one's going to be a live service or not, but on January 18th, Square Enix is going to announce a new Dragon Quest title for iOS and Android. You'll be able to watch that announcement on YouTube. It's going to feature an overview of the game, live gameplay, and more. And according to the teaser site, it says that it's going to be a, mercy of Google Translate here, ?RPG. There's also a new Twitter account for it. Could this be related to the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake we've heard rumors about before and was pretty much officially announced a while ago? ?RPG almost makes me feel like they kind of want to do a Genshin Impact-y thing, Tark.
Ooh.
In like a Dragon Quest world. But I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know. We have no idea besides the information I gave you.
The only problem with it being a Genshin Impact-y is that I don't see anything about consoles. So, no thank you.
This is just mobile.
So,
at least right now. At least in the announcement.
I wish I had known about
mobile.
this. I'd maybe invested in that company that's making it.
Hey, I just wanted to, Tark, you had said it on a show, and I've seen it on another site, so I wanted to bring that here. Square Enix, Game Rant agrees with you, Tark. They think that the big announcement that was not related to Final Fantasy VII that got teased, that's coming up sometime, they feel like that's the Final Fantasy IX remake announcement. And they used the same evidence you brought up on the show, like the NVIDIA leaks and then everything we've had since then. So way to go, Tark.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I hope it is. I think it just creates a bigger impact than a Tactics remaster. So, especially with the anime coming out for 9. So, if you tie those two together, they could benefit each other. And
well, remember they said the animated Final Fantasy IX thing is going to be geared towards a younger audience. So,
Fine.
I'm like tempering my expectations on that one because there's some dark stuff in 9, but I don't think they're really gonna go there.
But what if they give you an NFT with it?
I'm gonna buy 2.
Nice.
Buy 2.
An NFT minion? Oh, then you're screwed.
Oh,
damn it.
Finally, before we head over to Love It or Leave It, Forspoken, when it comes out, will have De Novo DRM on it. So that's $70 price tag. They want to make sure they get that $70 per copy.
Is that just a PC version for that?
Yeah.
Then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a little rough sometimes. I mean, we saw that really hit the hell out of the performance of Shadow of the Tomb Raider and some other games. So kind of a bad taste. I mean, it's one of those, I understand why you're doing it, but man, there's got to be a better way to do it without just killing the performance. So
And
Forspoken on PC, de novo, at least for the launch window. Sometimes games take it out afterwards, so we'll see.
Yeah. Even from the demo though, it was showing some technical difficulties. So you're gonna add this on top of it. I'm worried for it on PC. Absolutely.
Well, it is Square Enix on PC.
Yeah, I think just the Square Enix logo on the PC version should make you worried about it.
Let's head over to Love It or Leave It. Love it or leave it is the way we end every episode of the Relic Grind here. It's where I give you one thing. Could be Square Enix related, something in a game, a press release, something they did, something they said, tangentially related, whatever, because I get to pick. And you tell me whether you love it, want more of it, or leave it. Set it aside, never to be picked up or seen again. I teased it earlier, gentlemen, so today we're going with 6.3 patch. Love it or leave it. And again, just as a reminder, no including anything that's going to be in .35 or any of the other sub patches that's not there. Just what launched Tuesday. Love it or leave it, Kronos.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it. I think this is probably my least favorite patch in recent memory. So just on that alone, I think I'm going to leave it. Again, that doesn't mean that I didn't have fun playing it. I do like the content. It's just not on par to me with other patches.
I think I'm going to agree with you. Like, it's just barely a leave it for me, though. Like, if I could fence it, I probably would on this one. But since we don't allow that in this segment, I'll fall down drunk on the side of leave it. I enjoyed it. It's just not one of my favorites. So I can't say love it. That's not fair. So I'll fall down on the leave it side. What do you got, Tark?
I guess I'll have to break with the grain here. I love it. Final Fantasy IV vibes all throughout this. It's my favorite Final Fantasy of all time. I got a lot of Zero loving in, so that made me happy as well. And I want more of it, so I will in a couple more weeks. So there we go.
Yeah, just a few more weeks. I think I'm gonna like, excuse me, the 6.3 series. I think I'll feel
the whole
thing,
as a whole.
Right? But if I treat just 6.3.0. Yeah, I got to fall on leave it. That's going to do it for us today on the Relic Grind. Chat, thank you so much for throwing your opinions in there as we go. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll have the channel go dark for a minute or two, and then we'll come back up with Faye. What's up, Faye?
Hey, it's going to be another day in hell. We got work to do.
What a way to plug your stream. Awesome. Well, viewers, it's going to be another day in hell.
Literally.
So you're headed back to Hades, huh? How's it going?
Pretty well. I actually haven't touched it since last week. I took a little bit of a break. So we're refreshed, ready to go on some more runs.
Picking up right where you left off. So if you watched last week, like you should, and if you're watching on YouTube or listening on the audio portions, even if you can't make the show, you still can go to Faye's stream. You're allowed. Mm-hmm. You don't have to buy a ticket for both. You can go to one or the other. You'll be picking up right where you left off, so you didn't miss a thing. Faye, we'll turn it over to you in just a second. That's going to do it for us here on the Relic Grind. We'll be back Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern with Gaming Gumbo. And I don't know. I'm sure Ubisoft and something Skull and Bones related happened this week. I'll have to look it up.
Womp womp.
I'll have to. I wrote 2 articles yesterday and today. Do you know that Yves Guillemot sent an email to his team telling them the employees of the Ubisoft, the ball's in your court, talking about the company's future? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Hey, if they do well, maybe they'll get some NFTs out of it.
Oh, God.
Nice.
We'll be back gaming Gumbo Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch to talk about that and so much more in the week of gaming. Until next time, Kronos, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, same as always, Twitter. I'm going to chill this week and watch other people's football teams lose. Because mine can't.
Nice.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Tark.
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkov Gaming, and I will not be watching any football. The season's over. There's no postseason. It's done.
I'm Mike Byrne. Whoops, I did not set the outro right. Follow me on Twitter at MagicMan1. More importantly, follow at RC Raideo, and you'll know every time we go live with a show or a stream. Until Saturday, stay safe, gang. We'll see you on the servers. And I will watch a little football. Why not?